everyone? Are you at home? Are you staying safe? Are you good? Good. Chances are that you're probably playing a video game, aren't you? And you're just having this in the background. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you stay home and stay safe. But chances are that in said video games, there's cinematics, aren't they? Unless you're playing like DuckTales or something like that. Nothing wrong with that. But today I'm gonna be talking about the cinematography, composition, and overall storytelling of some of my favorite games. I personally find a lot of my inspiration in video games that I play. They do something so unique and so cool that it's really hard to replicate in real life. So these are the top 5 cinematics in games, why they're cool. So please stick around, like, dislike, subscribe. I'm practically begging, just stick with us, okay? You'll learn something cool, hopefully. All right, roll the intro. Alright, so today I'm gonna be talking about cutscenes in video games. Chances are that you feel one out of 2 ways when it comes about this. Is that, well, why are you gonna show me a movie? I paid $60 to shoot things and jump and collect princess. Why are you gonna show me this? Why? Or 2, awesome, I just did all that hard work. I can just step back a little bit, get a little bit of story, and just continue on in my merry way. Regardless of that feeling, games just have cutscenes nowadays. As if good gameplay isn't enough to keep you invested, a lot of games just have stories and, well, they just want to showcase. And there's nothing wrong with that. I personally feel more invested when there's a good story involved, or even if there's a mediocre story, if the gameplay is good enough. Please keep in mind that the list that I'm about to present is my own personal opinion. This is just what I feel, how I felt. All this stuff is personal, all right? Now that I said that, you can't hurt me. So, number 5 in the list of 5, I guess, Doom/Doom Eternal. Alan, the only reason you're talking about Doom and Doom Eternal is because, well, you just bought the game and you can't stop playing. To that I say, well, guess what? You're right. First off, I'm gonna be talking about the first game. A lot of the story in Doom 2016 is told in a first-person view, which, let's admit it, is amazing, all right? If you want to be Doom Guy, you gotta see what Doom Guy sees. It's told in a first-person view with some dialogue and with Doom Guy's body language. Doom Guy doesn't talk in this game, so how do you express your feelings when you don't talk? Well, you do this, you do this, you rip and tear until it's done. A specific scene that I find powerful and that I really enjoy is early on in the game, in the elevator scene. You sit in the elevator and Samuel Hayden is telling you, hey, first of all, welcome to Mars, it's hell on Earth. Second of all, everything that's going on was for a purpose and it was worth it. Earth now has energy thanks to me, and thanks to, well, unfortunately all these lives that was lost was worth it, okay? And to that moment, Doom Guy just looks down, sees a dead human being, and clenches his fist. Ooh, do you need to say enough? Or anything at all? I think not. Obviously, Doom Guy just hates the idea, hates the fact that demons are even involved in this. Why are you grabbing energy from hell and giving it to Earth? It has to be like better ways. Have you heard of a solar panel? But there's also key moments early on in the game in which, well, when you encounter your first imp. Imp is a little gobbo, is a little goblin thing. In which you first encounter this demon, the camera goes from first person to just crash zooms. And then it zooms back in, making you feel like, oh, it's so drastic and crunchy and just out of left field and it's so grungy. Perfectly just, it fits so well with the narrative and just the overall gameplay of what you're doing. And now let's go to Doom Eternal. The reason why it's also number 5 in the list is because, well, Doom is Doom, okay? In Doom Eternal, they say, all right, in the first game, everything was in first person. In this one, we're gonna do a little bit of a combo, which is all right, cool. In the first game, you had these moments where you looked up and you're like, oh man, this place is huge, that's crazy, right? But then in this one, they decide, hey, let's just move the camera out, let's show them, let's give some comparison. Now, you're comparing Doom Guy with its environments. In which, I guess if you're a fan of the first game, you might go like, why? But personally, I feel that now that I see this sense of scale of who I am, what I am, compared to this world and what I'm doing in it, to me it just feels so much more satisfying. There's moments in the game where you're interacting with other characters and, you know, getting some narrative and storytelling, and you just feel so badass, because now you can see how angry, how full of rage you are against these demons, right? Comparing your rage with other characters around. There's this amazing scene in which you're just walking, right? You're just Doom guy walking around in the UAC base, and there is reacting to you going, ooh, watch out, and stuff like that. It just makes you feel so badass. And there's also these moments in which, for example, you're sharing an intimate moment with the betrayer. You don't even say a word, but you see the scale of who he is and what you are and what you're about to do through composition alone. A lot of the times, unless it's a wide, Doom guy is taking a lot of the screen. Just showcases, like, even though, you know, you're a simple 6-foot behemoth man full of muscle, you're still in this big world doing big things. I just feel like it enhances the game, all right? Can I just say that? Okay, number 4. Oh my God, I'm constantly sweating. Number 4, I'm gonna be talking about a PlayStation 2 game. Whoa, PlayStation 2? I love polygons. Great, tell me more about them. But this game is something that I bet you love. Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus should be the first image that pops into your mind when you think, are games art? Well, guess what? It is. The cinematics in this game just give you this feeling of, I want to say desperation. Because the entire story is like, okay, your man trying to save lady in a coma. Kissing her doesn't work. So now there's this entity, this voice tells you, hey, you gotta slay these colossi to bring her back. And I mean, come on. You're the first simp, basically. So you trust him and you're like, I want her. Let's slay some chads and let's get them. In these cinematics, unless it's like a medium or anything like that, the camera steps back showing how small you are. And admit it wasn't a cinematic scene or anything like that, but when you first saw the Colossus, you couldn't help but just look up. That alone just evokes so many emotions. It's frightening, and just the adrenaline rush. Can you just imagine? Do you see this behemoth rise from the ground and you're like, oh, I'm gonna put my sword in that? Basically what I'm trying to say is that in the cinematics, it makes you feel so much smaller and so puny and weak that when you take down these colossi, although it kind of feels bad doing it because, you know, they're kind of like gentle giants, they ain't doing anything wrong, it still gives you this moment of achievement. Like, man, I'm 2 inches compared to this thing and I still took it down. Isn't it great? The poor thing can like inches back and I killed him, stabbed him in the back and spine. That was number 4. So for my number 3 in the list, this could be another one of those combos, and that is, well, Portal and HalfLife. You're saying, Alan, there's no cinematics in this, there's no nothing, there's not this. I mean, maybe in the beginning and a little bit towards the end, but there really isn't any cinematic stuff. Well, to that I say you're right but wrong at the same time. And that is, well, because whenever something important is going on, or whenever a story is being given to you, your character locks, literally, your character just does this. It just locks his legs where it's at. And you have this small frame that your camera gets to move around in a first-person view. I feel like it should count. And that's because, well, a story's being told to you, you are the camera. The game director said, hey, you should be paying attention to this. You still have your freedom, very limited though, but you can, you know, you have to pay attention to this. This is a story. You play the game for the story. Pay attention to the story. It's not just all about run and shoot, right? Regardless, the game director says, hey, this is what you should be paying attention to, and the composition and the story, although it's being told through this and you can move around, it's not distracting. Everything important that is happening is inside of that box. So therefore, you don't really lose the sense of immersion. You still have the freedom of looking around, but the story's still being told in that box. Unlike in a lot of VR games. Personally, I feel like in VR, that's almost like the death of the death of story, because let's admit it, you're walking around and suddenly, oh, character's talking to me. Let me slap him. You just reach with your big, gross, grubby hands and start slapping Darth Vader. I'm sorry, your friend died, and you're just like hitting them and like headbutting them. You just can't take the story serious when you're doing that. Our human brains, when we know we're in a simulation or anything like that, and we hear a story, we're like, oh, I just want to get back to the game. Let me make this fun, okay? So you're just slapping this thing. It's like, why, dude? But, you know, that's fine. With Half-Life and Portal, they keep in mind that, hey, you can move around, you can see this, the story's being told in this box, but also you can't look at your toes and distract yourself. So that's good on them. What's number 2? Okay. God of War, right? Everybody tells me, Alan, you should play God of War, Quest for the Boy. Watch it, okay? Go play it. Everything is so seamless. The camera moves in and out, and no cuts. It's amazing. To that I say, all right, cool. But Dark Souls could have done it if they didn't have cinematics in it. Almost all of the Souls games, you start in one hub, and you can traverse everywhere seamlessly without a loading screen even. Oh, by the way, number 2 is any Souls game, not God of War. Sorry. This is personal, you can't attack me. In Dark Souls, whenever you're moving around, you have this scale of just like, oh my God, I'm dying left and right, I'm slaying these little skeletons around and whatnot. And then suddenly you reach a room and you're like, this room is very roomy. Is there a boss? There's a boss. And boom, cinematic comes in. The entire time you have this scale of like, okay, I'm this guy, I'm this knight. And then this giant behemoth that looks like that hasn't been woken in millennia suddenly just appears in front of you. You're like, oh, that's scary. But with its cinematics, they make everything look so much bigger and so much just scarier with its cinematography and composition. A lot of the times when you're shot, sorry. Oh my God. Holy shit. Everything just fell apart.
Are you okay? What just happened?
That scared the fuck out of me.
Oh my God, what just happened? Oh my God.
Oh
Is
my
that on camera?
God, yeah. How did that happen? So just like that, whenever you have your character, the person that you're playing as, a little knight, and then you have this behemoth in the same frame, again, it just gives you that sense of scale. It's like, oh, that thing is massive, but I still have to take it down. Combined with how notoriously hard these games are, again, it just gives you that sense of achievement. It gives you that just, I just took this thing down, man, and I'm gonna step out of this room and get my ass whooped yet again, and I can't wait. This one's gonna fall too, I can't wait. That's To Wake Up Dead. You guys should watch it. Links below. So, in my number 1 game that just the cinematics and the story and blah 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 whatever, all these awesome things that inspire me and I just really enjoy is Metal Gear 5. Metal Gear is notorious for being wacky, overly dramatic, but well told and entertaining. I mean, Hideo Kojima himself is the only one that could pull it off. All right, let's admit it. It's amazing. And I want to talk specifically 5 is because, well, Kojima was inspired by a lot of things in this. He was inspired by Hitchcock films in which the camera is constantly moving, finding different positions and different compositions to tell the story that's being presented. The way that the camera moves a lot of the times, it feels like you're a character there. In Metal Gear 5, you play as Big Boss. You're walking around, and one of the gameplays or whatever is to, literally kidnap people and turning them into your soldiers. But when you first start off the game, I personally felt like I was the first one he recruited. And that's because I never left his side. A lot of the times when you see a cutscene, although the zooms and outs are jarring, the movement's sporadic, they're very human-like. Boss is running and I have to follow him, and the camera has that movement with it. Even in the cinematics, which just further make me feel like I'm there. It's 100% immersion. There's also some just beautiful moments where the camera transitions between this lifelike character with the shakiness and whatnot, and then suddenly it just becomes nice and slow and cinematic. The flares help a lot, by the way. Nice and cinematic to showcase the emotions and what the character is feeling. And I feel like that just has to be so hard, and that's something that I want to strive for. I want to have that same emotion that's like, oh, I can relate to this character because I'm quite literally there. In a movie, if you have that throughout the entire movie, sure, that could be told well, but I feel like if it wasn't a game, it wouldn't be pulled off correctly. But to achieve like these type of camera movements, you have to have perfect blocking. A lot of the times characters don't move until the camera is on them. When the character does move and the camera can barely keep up, it just emphasizes more the sporadic, the emotion of like, oh, we gotta move quick. We have to be, it's hasty. Like, oh man, this is true desperation that I'm seeing here because of these reasons. The blocking, the camera can barely keep up with the action. Just furthermore emphasizing and helping with the story. I mean, I guess I talked enough. This has to be, the studio is slowly crumbling. These are just like, lists of games that I just find the cinematography and storytelling and overall camera work really appealing. So, with all that being said, what game sticks out to you? What game sticks out to you for its story and its narrative and its cinematography? What made you go, whew, yikes, damn, that makes me feel this emotion? All because of the camera blocking and everything else. Leave a comment below, like, dislike, please subscribe. We have plenty of videos like this in our playlist that you can play around and mess around with and watch. You ain't doing nothing else. Educate yourself. Now, if you don't mind, I have to fix a poster and make sure the entire place isn't crumbling down on us. See you in the next episode, guys. See you in the comments, because I'll be talking to you in the comments. That's scary. All right, we cut.